What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. With the builds coming out lately inside of Heresy, we got a lot of art going on, and this is no different with the Gifted Conviction and the Arc Hunter right here. Got a little bit of buff. Everything that we're using with Ascension, our Tempest Strike, as well as this exotic, got some buffs during this episode, so let's get into the exotic perk with Gift of Certainty. Activating Ascension or Tempest Strike throws bouncing explosives at nearby targets that jolt, as well as damaging them. Jolting targets grants us damage resistance, which is pretty sweet for that endgame content. Going through dungeon, blows through these Sundering Doctrine very easy. With the survivability, we're getting jolt, amplification, blinding, everything with this build, so very fun and easy to use. Alrighty, so with our Arc strata right here, we're going to be using Gathering Storm. At least this is what I was using best for the DPS side of this, in my personal opinion. Plus can do pretty good with clearing out ads because of the jolting that goes on. For me, I went with Gambling Dodge because now Ascension right here will proc with all of our different dodges, including like Threaded Spectre, our Radiant Dodge on Solar, everything like that. So I went with Gambler's Dodge so we can get Disorienting Blow back as fast as possible, so we can use Tempest Strike as much as possible too, because this got like a 60% damage buff inside of the PvE realm. This is blinding got better, so we got a lot going on with jolting. Amplification, the way I kind of been doing it is slide around, use your bolt charge with the slide going on, throw that up with Tempest Strike, then you can use your Ascent near targets with Gambler's Dodge. It'll give you back your melee, so then you can again use Tempest Strike, and you're gonna just get a bunch of those bouncing bombs next to each other, destroying enemy after enemy. With the ad clear is kind of crazy because of all the blinding and jolt that we get. Just like some of those heavier hitting enemies like Tormentors, etc., you can do a nice little blinding effect as well with that Ascension, which is super clutch. Your 5 fragments that we now get since Ascension has 3 slots. We're going with Arc of Resistance, or Spark of Resistance I should say, because we're going to get that damage resistance, very good for endgame activity. Spark of Feedback, taking melee damage increases our melee damage, so that'll work with just normal Disorienting Blow, as well as when we use it for Tempest Strike. Spark of Shock right here, so our nice Pulse Grenade is going to give us that jolting, so we're going to have even more jolting going on. Ionic Traces, Bolt Charge, etc. Spark of Magnitude right here, that Pulse Grenade is going to last longer, allowing us to do a little bit more damage, spread even more of that jolt. And finally, Spark of Volts right here. Finishers make us amplified and grant us stacks of that Bolt Charge, which Bolt Charge is definitely one of my favorite arc verts that they have come out with. Very good, and with this build we stack it up to ×10 very quickly, which it'll proc with our Ascension, with our Tempest Strike, as well as our grenades. So we got a lot of potential with that for damage, etc., as well as the ad clear. Mod customization on our Sparky little guy right here. We're gonna go with mobility at 60, recovery at 60, with resilience and strength at our hundreds for survivability, and then so we can use Tempest Strike as much as possible so we can get that Gifted Conviction to proc. As for our mods, I went with Dynamo, so every time we do use that Ascension or just dodge in general near enemies, we're gonna get back our super, with Orbs of Power being created from both of our weapon types. Bolstering Detonation with Focusing Strike and Momentum Transfer, causing damage with our grenade is going to give us our melee. Causing damage with our melee is going to give us our class ability. Same thing, causing damage with our grenade is going to give us class ability. So Ascent in general is going to be able to proc very easily, as well as our Tempest Strike. Now, when I was going through that dungeon, the first encounter, there is a lot of solar going on. I could switch this out for anything else inside of that. Arc, Void, Solar, Strand, Stasis. There's a lot going on in the dungeon, so totally up to you and what you are encountering. On our boots, as well as our class item, I went with Double Time Dilation so we can do extra bit of damage. You could technically just throw on 1 right here if you want. Throw on something like Powerful Attraction, as well as Tempest right here, or Outreach, so we can get back our Tempest Strike, I should say, because then every single time that we dodge or use that Ascension, all those Orbs of Power will come right to us, which will allow us to have that Arc Weapon Surge for a good amount of time with Time Dilation, as well as a nice little bit of health regeneration for us by picking up all of those orbs that we're creating via our Harmonic Siphons. On to the weapons for this build. For me, I'm going to be using the Adamantite, the Psycho Pump, and then as the Thunderlord goes as well. This will be good for healing on your teammates, pretty good with Hatchling as well, as we're going to get Sever on this build, so this is going to help us to stun unstoppable champions and spread a bunch of different things going on with Strand. This pairs very, very well with the Arc side of things. We're getting Demo, so our grenade back very quick, Eddy Current as well, so we can use that grenade to pick up the bolstering detonation and momentum transfer, so we're getting our melee and our class ability back. Helps with the internal feedback loop, plus it's just very, very good with the ad clear potential of the build. And then Thunderlord of course helped me get through that contest mode for the dungeon, was very good with DPS side of things. We're going to have even more damage because of Arc Weapon Surge, plus this will be able to stop our unstoppable champions, or our overload I should say, intrinsically with that bolt charge going on as well. So very good little combination of things we got for weapons. Last but certainly not least, we got our Tablet of Ruin from the Hive right here. We're going to be using Unstoppable Fusion Overload Machine Gun, a band type piercing sidearms right here. I can't even talk right now. I am just struggling, but that's okay. We really don't matter on these because intrinsically Thunderlord has the Unstoppable or Overload. I don't know why I keep getting those mixed up today. And then like I said, we're going to be using Unraveling Orbs right here, so we get those Unraveling rounds, making us able to stun barrier champions with our Strand Auto Rifle. We went with Overclock and Load. Well, we are amplified or have these bolt charges. Arc weapons have increased handling and reload. Very good for our Cycle Chomp as well as our Thunderlord, because we're going to have both of those consistently. Hold the line. Machine guns. Well, we are surrounded. Gain increased reload and stability. Final blows also heal us very good with that Thunderlord that we got on this bad boy. Dielectric. Defeating Arc debuff targets grants us bolt charge, like I said. Amplification. We're getting Jolt, Blinding, so all of that's going to help us to get a bunch of bolt charges on this build. Photonic Flare. Defeating exhausted severed targets will give us that Arc damage release of a blinding burst, so just another way we can get that void. Just another way we can get that Arc debuff to go on, so we can get something like Dielectric to proc. Fourth column right here, Flashover is what I'm using. When you have the maximum number of bolt charges, you also become amplified. Lightning bolts deal more damage with this. We're going to get this to proc consistently, like I said, because of the amount of bolt charges that we are getting. Horde Shuffle, all of that unraveling target damage that we are doing occasionally spread Threadlings, so pairs perfectly with over here an Unraveling Orbs. And then in the fourth column, or fifth column I should say, when we bring this in and get my last two mods, we're gonna go with, I think, this in Heavy Ordnance Regeneration, so we can get back that grenade melee, so we can really spam Tempest Strike even more by dealing sustained damage with that heavy machine gun that we got in Thunderlord. And then up to you, kind of based on if you want Elemental Supercharger, so you can get some of your super energy to go up, totally up to you, or Defibrillating Blast, so you can get bolt charges. Both work with the Arc subclass. This is more universal. You can do it really with any subclass, but totally up to you depending on those last two. But like I said, this build spreads Jolt around like it's no one's business, Blinding like it's no one's business. The way, like I said, I've been doing it is I use my melee first, so I can use that Tempest Strike, slide around it, get it to go off. Then you can use your Ascent, which will proc the Gambler's Dodge, which will give us a melee back, which we can then use Tempest Strike again. So it is a beautiful, beautiful little feedback loop that we got going on with all of that. And then just in general, the bolt charges that we're getting, the super pretty good at damage. Thunderlord in general very good at damage. We got ourselves an aerial denial frame with demo on it in the Arc burn as well, so we're getting our grenades back very, very quickly, jolting very, very quickly. I just think it is a very fun build. Like I said, took us through the new dungeon very, very easily. Got my contest clear done as well with the Thunderlord, so very good options with this build. Blows through solo, can go in there with the teammates. Definitely like the Adamantite, very good with that support side of it. So appreciate all you guys for coming back to the channel. Got a lot going on. Hopefully the algorithm is pushing all of this to you and getting all of your guides ready for you, so you can go in, crush the dungeon, get yourself a bunch of different builds and absolutely destroy it. Get yourself the new exotic that is like a bomber coming down from space like the War Mines used to. So appreciate you guys once again, or the Javelins, whatever they were. Well, I can't talk. Like I said, ADHD is going wild, but don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you have not. Really, really, really appreciate you guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!